Hello and welcome to Your Employment Matters. I'm Beverly Williams and I'm here to help you navigate your career. This is for anyone who's searching for their dream job or promotion, or perhaps you're just looking to hang on to the job you have. Today's work environments are multi-generational, multi-religious, multinational, multiracial, and multi-gender identity. Add market disruptors like Amazon and Lyft, along with the addition of AI, and it's easy to see why finding and keeping a job is such a challenge. Employment success and even employment survival depend on your ability to adapt. That's why my goal for this 30-minute podcast is to first advocate embracing change and differences, and second, to encourage you to proactively assume responsibility for your career. Get your work week off to a good start by listening to Your Employment Matters every Monday. Find out how to own your career and get the best practices for making your employment matter. Hello, I'm Beverly Williams. I'm the host of Your Employment Matters. I'm recording this episode solo for several reasons. But first of all, I want to apologize for the inconsistent posting of episodes. I have been working on other related projects, some of which will hopefully end up as podcast material so that you will benefit from what I've been hearing, and I can feel free to share it with you for you to digest, either accept or reject. It's your call. And that's how I approach Your Employment Matters and what I'm doing. I'm very passionate, as I've said in the past, about sharing information that I may have with people who may need it and who may not have access to it otherwise, either because they don't travel in those circles or because they don't have the resources to engage professionals like career coaches. This is difficult for me because I know that this month is Mental Health Awareness Month, and May 15th has a special significance. I will go into that later before I sign off, but before I get to that, because I'm emotional about that, I'm going to read to you from my book, Your Employment Matters. Not Your Employment, it's generated through the Your Employment Matters brand, but it's your GPS to employment success, how to find and succeed in the right job. And it's available wherever books are sold: Amazon, Barnes & Noble, independent bookstores, business press, my publishers. You can go to my website, youremploymentmatters.com. But I'm going to read to you the first chapter because so many people are out of work now for whatever reason, whether they expected it or for some unknown reason or some reason that they weren't expecting. But unemployment and being uncertain and stressed out about how you're going to earn a living, how you're going to take care of yourself and your loved ones, that can cause a lot of consternation, stress, anxiety, can make you feel, as they say, some kind of way. So before you start your job search, I am going to give you what I consider some tips that, as I said, you can accept or reject. It's definitely up to you, as always. But before you start actively looking for a job, just take a beat and decompress. Take a deep breath and relax. And take some of the steps I'm talking to you about today. I would like for you to take them all because I think they will benefit you, but I leave that again to you. Now, the first chapter of your GPS to employment success is entitled Prepare plan, persist, and persevere. Now, how you approach your employment journey is crucial. Each day, prepare yourself mentally, emotionally, and physically. Develop a strategic plan and execute it. Persist with your efforts in furtherance of your goals and objectives. Persevere through negative responses, if any, and the absence of responses which may occur. So, underprepare. If you approach your job search like this is the worst economic time in our country, that there are few jobs and that it's going to be difficult for you to get a job. If you approach it that way and you realize that you're going to have to step up your game, you're going to have to distinguish yourself among all of the other potential applicants. Because let me tell you, unless you have some really unique skill or you can cure cancer, there are too many other people that have similar qualifications to yours. And so you have to not just differentiate yourself, as so many people say. I say you have to distinguish yourself. You have to set yourself aside, shine the light on you. You have to distinguish yourself so that there's no other option. You're the best possible option. So you view and prepare for your job search through a lens that presumes the worst job market ever, regardless of the state of the economy and your prospects. If you approach it that way, you won't be surprised if you don't hear from an employer that you sent a resume to. You won't think it's unusual that you're not getting interviews because there's so many people out here looking for a job. And that may be indeed the case, but it might not be. But you have to plan. How are you going to approach it? And what I suggest is that you have a plan and it be a written plan. Plan what you're going to do each day, how you're going to accomplish it. Make a checklist of everything you want to do. You want to get up, get up at the same time every day. You have a routine. If it's 8 o'clock in the morning, get up at 8, have breakfast, a healthy breakfast, not sugar filled, empty calories. You want fruit, maybe yogurt. Of course, you can have coffee, but you want to have a healthy breakfast. You want to exercise. If you're not someone who exercises regularly, start slowly. Go for a short walk. If you have a stationary bike or you have access to one, ride for a while. Get into establishing a daily routine, plan. And at the end of the day, check off what you've done. If you plan that day to draft or revise your resume or a cover letter, or to reach out to someone who might be a networking contact, put all that on the list. And if you don't achieve that goal on that day, put it on your list the next day. Each day should have a list and you should be able to check it off. What else? You need to train. Olympians train for the Olympics. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying you have to get into the right mindset physically and mentally. You have to tell yourself that you're in this for the long haul until you reach your goal and objective. You have to be singularly focused on finding a job, not just any job, a job that you want. Now, that also depends on your circumstances. And I think that I've shared this with you before. You don't have to take any job unless your circumstances require it. If you have financial obligations, If you have loved ones that you have to care for and you have to provide for, you have to make different decisions, but that is up to you. But training like an Olympian means, as I said, getting up in the morning, going for a walk, eating the right breakfast, doing what's necessary to stay singular focused on achieving your goal. Now, another thing that may help you, I like music. I like all kinds of music. If you need something to get you started, play some of your favorite music so that you can get into the right mindset so that you can attack this task singular with a single mind. If you feel a little down or you feel like you want to just relax, play calmer music. Just be good to yourself while you're going through this. This is not a time for you to suffer. It's bad enough that you have to look for a job. You shouldn't have to suffer while you're doing it, and be kind to yourself. Now, what else? Now, depending on what kind of shape you're in, we know that people make decisions about us based on how we look. If you think you need to work on your appearance, do that. That should be part of your daily routine. If you're satisfied with your appearance and you don't think that it's going to interfere with you getting a job, then don't worry about it. But be honest about what to expect. You don't want to set yourself up for failure. You don't want to set yourself up to be disappointed and depressed. That's out. We're going to avoid that at all costs. And you do that by being honest with yourself. And if you don't know, if you're not sure, then ask people you trust and who will be straight with you. You don't need to go to someone who's going to tell you what you want to hear. You need to go to someone who's going to be straight with you. One of my young friends called me and said, Bev, I need to talk to you. I can't talk to my mother and father. I know you're going to give it to me straight. You're going to give me the raw deal. This is the deal. And even though that's what the person said, I knew because of her circumstances, I needed to be tactful because she was very vulnerable and there was not much more that I should say that would be negative. But I told her the truth. I don't lie to the young people I care about. I don't lie to people, period. But sometimes I say nothing in the absence of saying something that people may not want to hear. That's the way I get around it. So now I'm going to go back to I think it's 6. I'm going to go back to 6. Now, the next tip is manage your expectations. Don't start looking for a job and think you're going to find one tomorrow. That's not realistic unless you've got a job offer in your hip pocket that you've been walking around with. The likelihood of you being able to find a job immediately is almost non-existent. So manage your expectations. This is going to take time. This is what I have to do. You're going to have to do the work. They don't call work for nothing. You have to work to get a job. You have to do the work to find out about these employers. The internet makes it so easy. Go online, find out about what their mission is, find out what they do, if anything, in the community. Is this the kind of employer you want to work for? Because you have a choice. Now, I call what we're in the new employment reality. Years and years ago, when I first started out, it was different. You picked up the newspaper, you looked into one ad, you got a job. There were jobs all over the place, and the newspaper was delivered to the home. Now, it's different. Technology has set in. There are word searches. You have job descriptions. You have to make sure that you have the words from the job description in your resume. You have to make sure that you present yourself well virtually, because now a lot of the interviews, at least the first interviews, are done remotely. You have to prepare yourself and you have to own your career. You cannot rely on someone else to manage how you move forward on your employment journey. Keep that in mind. Now, I'm going to give you a career strategy model. And listen, it doesn't matter who your team is, what fandom you belong to. This is irrefutable. This is a career strategy that works. Now, if it doesn't work for you, it may mean that you don't have as much talent as this guy had. But you can modify it so that it will give you some favorable results if you do the work. Now, if you don't do the work, don't expect success. But this is the career strategy. Thanks to LeBron James, the new employment reality arrived at the National Basketball Association and is exemplified by his departure from the Cleveland Cavaliers for the Miami Heat in July 2010. Furthermore, this example represents a template for how to manage a career. Here are the steps in the template that LeBron James' move represents. LeBron set realistic goals. That was the first one. Number 2, he performed at the highest level. Number 3, he allowed a reasonable time within which to achieve his goals. Number 4, he objectively evaluated his talents and marketability. Number 5, he relocated to another state to pursue and achieve his career goals. LeBron James made a fortune playing with the Cleveland Cavaliers, but he had realistic, achievable career goals. He not only wanted to be on a championship team, but also wanted to win NBA championships for multiple years. After 7 seasons with Cleveland without bringing Cleveland an NBA championship, LeBron James decided to play for Miami for less money. LeBron felt that moving to Miami would give him the best opportunity to achieve his career goals, and he was right. With back-to-back successes, the Miami Heat was the NBA 2012 and 2013 championship team. Career goals 1 and 2, check, check. LeBron James left Miami and returned to Cleveland in 2014. In 2016, leading the Cleveland Cavaliers, LeBron James won his 3rd NBA championship. In 2018, he bid farewell to Cleveland again. This time, he joined the Los Angeles Lakers. 2 years later, in October 2020, during the COVID-19 pandemic, LeBron James won a 4th NBA championship against the Miami Heat, one of his former teams. Unquestionably, an admirable achievement that took, among other things, tremendous talent, focus, commitment, and teamwork. Now, don't get it twisted. Like I said, make no mistake, LeBron James' approach will not work for everyone. We all know that he was and amazingly still is extremely talented and marketable. Do not, and I emphasize, do not delude yourself. You probably know LeBron James. However, you be serious and honest with yourself about your talents and your marketability. An objective assessment of your skills and talents and on the job market is absolutely critical. And don't overestimate your value on the open market. Just because your parents have been telling you how fabulous you are since you came into the world, that may be true and it may not be true. An employer is not your parent. You really have to step out on the right foot. Now, you may have a personal brand. If you do, is it working for you? If you don't, do you need one? Personal brands are how you present yourself, how you communicate, how you dress, how you wear your hair. It may even be your earrings, your fingernails, your shoes. Depending on the industry that you're looking for employment in, what works in one industry may not work in another industry. That means that you have to continue your research to see what is appropriate in any given research. And if it's appropriate and you don't like it and you don't want to do it, Don't take that job and decide you're going to dress the way you want, because they will take steps at some point, unless you're doing something they can't do without. You will have a short tenure at that employer. So, and you not only have to think about a job in your neighborhood or in your state, think globally and nationally, outside of your state in other states, and outside of the United States in other countries. Motivate yourself. You may get down. You may not be getting the results you want in the time that you want them. Think about what you're working toward and take a picture of it. If it's a vacation home, if it's a car, if it's your children, take a picture of it, put it in a lovely frame, and put it at your nightstand. And every night before you go to bed, look at it, and then you know what you're in it for. But whatever you do, whatever feedback you get, negative or positive, even if you don't think the people are in your corner, accept it graciously. Accept all feedback as a gift. If they're not in your corner and you know it, and they come to you that way, it just confirms what you already know, and that's a good thing. If it's not good and you know the person cares about you, that's good too, because you can rely on them to be straight with you, and that may mean that you may need to make a change. You also want to follow sound advice. Like I said, if it's someone you know is in your corner and they tell you something that you don't particularly care for, may be advice that you may want to follow. If you don't want to follow the advice, can you come up with a good reason why you shouldn't? The other thing, seek information, not affirmation. You do not need to be told that you are fabulous every day the good Lord sends. You want to acquire information that will improve your situation. We want to be smarter. We want to know more. Information is power. Remember that. Persevere. Don't give up and don't give in. Don't let anyone tell you what you can't do, and believe it. If your lack of success in finding a job or receiving a promotion makes you feel underappreciated or ignored, do a reality check. Ask yourself, have I exhausted all possible avenues that could lead me to success? Have I been more flexible than I have ever been? Have I stepped outside my comfort zone? Have I engaged in introspective reflection to identify areas that need improvement? You do your own check and answer your questions honestly. Don't let anyone tell you you cannot or should not achieve your goals. Do not give up or give in to your emotional ups and downs. Stay the course, press on. Failure, at least on a permanent basis, is not an option. Now, I'm going to go back to my sixth tip. A dear friend of mine who was a peer reviewer on my book, Your GPS to Employment Success, and who I'd known for years, and we lived in the same community. We went to law school at the same time, but he went to law school. We went to the same law school, but he went during the day and I went at night while I worked a full-time job. He and I worked for a very prestigious law clerk position, and that's how I met him, really. We were both on law review, but, it's like ships that pass in the night. My dear friend, who was a man of means, he wasn't looking for a job. He committed suicide. And had I been aware that he was in that state of mind, I think I would have done something different. I don't know. Everyone says there's nothing that I could have done because he was getting treatment. He had the resources. He was getting personal one-on-one treatment. He was getting group therapy, but it didn't work. And I know, as I knew him, that he would not have left his wife and his 2 adult daughters if he could have stayed here. He was the type of friend that he supported me in whatever I did. So I say to all of you that are looking for work, don't suffer in silence if you feel blue or if you feel that there's no hope or you're depressed. Manage your mindset. Managing the stressors of life, including the stress that accompanies seeking employment, is not easy. Whatever your employment situation, your mental and physical well-being are critical to your success in finding a job and as an employee. Daily meditation can relieve stress and anxiety by clearing your head and placing you in a state of mind that permits you to concentrate on your job search or efforts to earn a promotion. Take advantage of online resources, group chats, and networking opportunities. Explore available online meditation tools and recordings to find one suitable for you. Mindfulness, quote, the basic human ability to be fully present, aware of where we are and what we're doing, and not overly reactive or overwhelmed by what's going on may benefit you. Focus on self-care. Find videos that offer yoga or guided meditation. You can start with a 10-minute video and increase the time gradually. The goal is to be healthy and ready when opportunity knocks. Do not be embarrassed if you become overwhelmed or feel blue. Acknowledge how you feel by telling someone such as your medical practitioner or clergy. Do not struggle alone. Tell someone who will help you get either professional or family help. And I say to everyone out there who may be struggling, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Do not struggle alone. There are resources in the back of Chapter 1, the National Alliance on Medical Illness, NAMI. The links for the website is there, or you can Google it. NAMI, N as in Nathan, A, M as in Mary, I. Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. That's also in the list of resources. Thrive Global. There's a website for that. Just check it out. I'm going to try to put the resources on the website in honor of this month. But please, don't suffer in silence. Reach out, talk to someone, get help. It won't be this way forever. I'm going to leave you now because I'm getting emotional. I hope that what I've provided today and on the podcast and in the book is helpful. Until next time, thank you for listening. Thanks for listening to Your Employment Matters with Beverly Williams. If you found this podcast helpful, please subscribe and leave a review. I truly appreciate your support, and that helps other listeners find the podcast. If you have a comment, question, or suggestion, you can reach me at baWilliams@youremploymentmatters.com. My book, Get the Job Done, is available on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. Please join me again next week. Until then, remember to embrace change and differences.
This podcast is part of the Sound Advice FM network. Sound Advice FM, women's voices amplified.